The PR legend in Kenya, you must be Gina Din.
Gina.
It has to be Gina.
Gina Din.
Definitely Gina.
So I had reached the top of where I was going to be within the organization I worked for. It was a wonderful organization, and they really helped me develop. And as a result of the work I did for them, a lot of the other corporates were really keen to have a Gina Din in their businesses. And that became kind of a thing. They would interview and say, we're looking for a Gina Din. And so, I started thinking about it and said, well, why can't I be that to many organizations? And why can't I? And my boss actually at Barclays said, what you're doing for us, why don't you go and do it? And of course I was a bit unsure, I was quite young. But that's what I ended up doing. I ended up starting my own business. I think there were, a few people before me. They were generally older white men that were very much in the field of tourism or wildlife. But to bring PR into mainstream, into corporate world, I definitely think I played a very critical role. I was 21 years old when I was given the opportunity to work at Barclays as the head of public relations, a totally blank canvas, and was able to really show Kenya and the continent, what strategic PR was all about. And I really learned, basically on the job myself of creating a brand and ensuring the messaging of the brand was on point. PR, I think when I came on board, was very much part of a marketing department or part of an advertising. It was never a standalone. And I think the one thing that I did was to say, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to have a standalone PR company. And people thought I was absolutely crazy. They're like, it's not sustainable because there's not the budgets here for that. And so, I think what we did very well was to make businesses realize what good PR could do for them and how they need to budget for that separately from their marketing and their advertising. I travel a lot, and then COVID happened. And I had a period where I was, okay, what am I going to do? And my daughter, who knew I'd always wanted to write a book, said to me, Mom, why don't you go ahead and write your book? I really didn't feel at that time that I felt like I couldn't write a definitive autobiography. It's like, it's something I'm going to do in the future. But then this time presented itself. And so I started writing, and it's a huge undertaking to sit down and document things that you've done, your story, your life. But it's been the most incredible accomplishment, and I'm so glad that I did it. I think the perception of an African woman globally is very much under the lens of poor, poverty, domestic violence, children, but there's so many successful women on the continent, really incredibly accomplished women. We talked earlier about women in tech. I mean, women in climate change, just so many policy makers on the continent are women. And I want to highlight those women. I want them to tell their story. I'm excited to help them tell their story. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to have a platform for daughters of Africa to tell their story. I would probably not scale at the level that we scaled at, because we grew very fast. I think at some point we probably had 80% of the business in the country, and it was fast. And it came with a lot of growing pains. You're trying to build a business, you're trying to bring in skill, you're trying to upscale the people that you have. So that is something I'll probably do differently. But I have no regrets of anything that I've done. I've learned a lot. I've taught a lot. I've opened the doors for many women who might not even know that I opened the doors for them. And so I feel I'm a very satisfied woman. I think it's nice to be able to work with clients doing much more advisory as opposed to, where you're full on operational, which was great at the time and it was really good for my business. But now I'm much more an advisor. I'm enjoying that, and I'm enjoying helping clients with reputational management. We need to give the PR industry the importance it deserves, and that we as PR practitioners need to hold ourselves to the standards to which our clients actually deserve us to be. You know, the role that we should be playing is as strategic communications advisors to businesses, to governments, to humanitarian organizations. And part of that, of course, is going to be the events and the other fun stuff. But I think providing strategy is really what I see public relations as being.